The zombie genre has become incredibly stale after almost 100 years have passed since the first zombie-themed movie has been released to the general public back in 1932. Ever since the release of Victor Halperin's White Zombie, we've had numerous zombie-themed films and series like Dawn of the Dead, 28 Days Later, its sequel 28 Weeks Later, World War Z, The Walking Dead, Quarantine, Train to Busan, and many more to count. With the progression of media in the modern world we live in today and the popularity of video games rising rapidly fast in the 1980s, it eventually was only a matter of time for a video game about zombies to reach mainstream media popularity and receive its own movie adaptation. In 1996, Capcom published a video game about zombies that you might have heard of.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil or Biohazard in Japan was the first zombie game that really got people's attention and was so successful that it inspired many other video game developers to develop their own take on the zombie genre. Some did a really good job.
Where's everyone going?
While others were rather questionable. In the same year Resident Evil got released, a company that most of you will be familiar with was created. Valve was founded by ex-Microsoft employees Gabe Newell and Mike Harrington. Only 2 years after founding the company, they managed to develop and release Half-Life, which is one of the most influential video games of all time, but most important, a critical and commercial success. And if for some reason you didn't know, Valve also owns Steam, which is pretty popular in the PC gaming community. Valve eventually decided to give the zombie genre a try as well by acquiring Turtle Rock Studios, known as Valve South, between 2008 to 2010. Valve South was responsible for developing Valve's take on the zombie genre, the zombie game we all know and love, Left 4 Dead. When people first started playing Left 4 Dead, it was obvious how unique it was and how popular it was going to be. So popular in fact that they released a sequel only 1 year later and then proceeded to never develop the third one. But don't worry guys, Turtle Rock Studios decided to bring back the Left 4 Dead spirit with Back 4 Blood.
Oh, so I'm to blame?
Oh, fuck no!
Revolver here, pistol here.
Yeah, we all know how well that went. The story of Left 4 Dead arguably doesn't really play a big role in the game itself, as it relies more on the gameplay to entertain and keep the players invested. The premise of Left 4 Dead can be summarized in: pick a gun, shoot hordes of zombies, leave your teammates behind because you're a strong, independent woman who doesn't need their help, and reach the safe room. The game revolves around the 4 survivors, Bill, Zoe, Francis and Lewis, who find themselves stuck in the middle of an outbreak caused by a virus with the name Green Flu. They fight themselves through hordes of infected and special infected that have mutated. Left 4 Dead 2 on the other hand is pretty much just a more improved version of its prequel, adding a bunch of stuff like more weapons including melee, more special infected, more game modes, and a different set of characters. The universes of the two games however are connected, as we can see in the ending of the passing DLC of Left 4 Dead 2.
I hate stairs.
Oh my god, you hate stuff too?
Sure. Never really thought about it, but yeah, I hate things. I hate those stairs.
I know!
I hate that bridge.
It's so stupid!
Well, you might ask yourself, what makes Left 4 Dead so special? And how does a 14-year-old game manage to have a more active player base than Battlefield 2042? A game that was released by a AAA studio about a year ago. The graphics are certainly not bad for the time it was released, but you can definitely tell the difference between Left 4 Dead 2 and the most recent Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that came out in 2022. I think the reason that Left 4 Dead 2 is still played to this day is because of a few factors. The gameplay is pretty random, as you never know where the special infected might spawn, and the guns also seem to be different each time you play. The hordes are also really aggressive and create a great dynamic for gameplay experience. it's just straight up fun to shoot the infected while running to the safe room and trying not to get killed. You can play the campaign, scavenge, survival, versus survival, realism versus, and mutations. Now, I wasn't really invested in most game modes other than the campaign, mutations, and versus. Campaigns obviously being the main story and designed like a movie, with each campaign having their own poster in the loading screen. Mutations are modified game modes that can really freshen up the gameplay, as they each give a unique challenge to beat. My favorite one is probably the Last Man on Earth mutation, as it removes all common infected and leaves only special infected left to fight you, except the Boomer. This could mean you'd walk out of a safe room, get pounced by a hunter, and it would just be over. My favorite game mode of all is probably Versus. You get to play as both survivor and infected, taking turns against the other team, and the team that progresses the most through the map gets the most points. You could lose points for letting a survivor die and leaving them behind, but if you have a defibrillator, you can save them and only get a small penalty. The team that has the most points at the end of the campaign wins. Now, although I do like this game mode, I want to give fair warning that the Versus players are super sweaty and toxic, and will throw every possible insult at you before voting to kick you out of the game because you accidentally took a breath without asking them beforehand. Like seriously, it's bad. The chatter between the survivors throughout the various game modes and especially the campaign gives some really cool insight on each character individually. Ellis is a mechanic who's pretty much the game's comic relief, constantly talking about his buddy Keith in a thick southern accent and rather silly attitude. Coach is, surprise, a former high school football coach, and also the eldest among the survivors, giving him a sense of authority. Nick, a gambler who's extremely selfish and rude towards others, is someone who travels through cities looking for easy and shady ways to make money. And last but not least, probably the least favorite character for most of Left 4 Dead players, Rochelle. Guys, chill, I'm not misogynistic, I swear, please don't cancel me, please. Rochelle is a news reporter and a very kind person, always looking out for the other survivors, almost like being the motherly role of the group. Overall, I'd say the characters have a very good dynamic with each other, and the dialogue is actually pretty entertaining if you pay close attention to it. I'd recommend turning on subtitles anyway, not just to better understand what the survivors are saying, but also getting hints on what is going on around you. Mods only work on the PC version of the game and not on the Xbox 360 version, but I think most people will play Left 4 Dead 2 on PC anyway, so I thought I'd quickly talk about them. You can download mods for custom weapon skins, survivor skins, infected and special skins, and even custom made campaigns. Sorry. I use mods fairly often, as you'll be able to tell throughout the video, but I recommend not using too many mods, as Left 4 Dead will crash a lot, especially if you use custom skins and custom campaigns. The Left 4 Dead 2 soundtrack was composed by Mike Moraski, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty damn good and helps yourself be more immersed, with each special infected having their own special sound cue that plays if they spawn, and the tank even having his own theme.
I'm taking this rifle.
Let's cut through the garage sale.
Audio in general plays a huge part in the Left 4 Dead experience. I personally find the audio in Left 4 Dead 1 a lot creepier than Left 4 Dead 2, but Left 4 Dead 2 overall has a less serious vibe, which isn't necessarily bad.
Damn it! Watch where. Reloading.
Grenade!
Wow, the niggas. Ammo. Reloading.
Yeah, I can't get up.
I got you. I got you.
I'm not a zombie. Shoot the zombie.
What is that?
Y'all did good. What are your names?
We're all getting to know each other. Everyone's their shell.
I run an auto shop with a couple of my buddies. Reload.
Robin Cola. Nicholas. I thought you knew how to use a gun.
Get that now.
Reloading. Reloading. I swear to God, you can't shoot work.
Comrade, stop pissing off Wick. You don't have a shotgun.
I'm reloading.
This mom look busy to you.
Wow, the nigga.
Open the door.
I had a lot of fun playing Left 4 Dead, and there is certainly a reason why 30,000 people still play it every day, even 14 years after its release. The most fun I had was testing out custom-made maps with friends and playing versus. Even if most players are pretty toxic, you'll also find some genuinely cool people. If you like zombie games and you've never played Left 4 Dead, you're definitely missing out. It usually costs about $10 US on Steam, but you could also wait for it to go on sale where it usually costs around $2 US. Also, if you're interested in more Left 4 Dead, you should check out Actman's video on Left 4 Dead 2. He goes more in depth with the game and it's overall a good video. Well, this is pretty much my take on Left 4 Dead. If you enjoyed the video, dropping a like would really help me out, and if you're feeling generous, subscribing would be amazing. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace!